Keep a pace with the latest track and field news from Jamaica, across the Caribbean, and around the world. It's trackalerts.com. There is just no other. Up-to-the-minute details, expert views, reviews, and interviews in photos, videos, and features. Track Alerts on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Track Alerts TV on YouTube. Trackalerts.com. From start to finish.
Stay Track Alerts TV by clicking the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to make sure you get all our races, interviews, and exclusive content. And don't forget to like, comment, and share.
The lineup for section 5 of 5 for the men's 200 meters. Lane number 1, Rasheem Williams. Lane number 2, Mathue Howell. Lane number 3, Kedrian Golson. Lane number 4, Romario Williams. Lane number 5, Brandon Rodney. Lane number 6, Tyquendo Tracey. Lane number 7, Anthony Carpenter. And in lane number 8, Malik James King. Of course, Brandon Rodney in lane number 5 has a personal best of 19.96 seconds. And they're going to send them off to a good start is lane number 6, Tyquendo Tracey at the moment. Also running well is lane number 4, Romario Williams. And also running well is lane number 5, Rodney. So Rodney leading this one shoulder to shoulder with Williams. Tracey finishing well, but running well. Tracey coming through and he will take this one ahead of Rodney. And in third place, Williams.
Tyquendo Tracey taking that one in a flash time of 20.51 seconds. Tyquendo Tracey.
Okay, so hello and good evening to Let's Talk Tokyo on Track Alerts TV. My name is Mathue Tapper and I'll be your host for this short series. Now, what this short series is just a series of, I want to say, short interviews with our Jamaican Olympians, a few of them who will be heading to Tokyo in a few weeks. It's episode 1, and for episode 1, I will be interviewing the reigning national champion in the 100 meters men, that is Tyquendo Tracey. Good evening, Tyquendo.
Good evening, good evening. You hearing me, right?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Okay, so before we get into the interview, I wanted to start by just giving an introduction. I'm sure everybody knows already, but Tyquendo Tracey is the men's 100-meter champion for 2021, heading into the Tokyo Games. He's also the 2018 national champion. He won the championship in 2018 in 10.07. That year, he also won the knockout games in 10.03, and this year at the national championships, he won it in 10 flat. So, Tracey, welcome to Let's Talk Tokyo.
Thank you very much.
All right, so I wanted to start this interview firstly by just discussing a little bit about your early life. And by early life, I mean from these days, understand? So let us talk about first hill all age. That was your all age. So that was your all age school in Trelawney, right?
Yeah.
What a smile. All right, so you attended that school from grade 1 to grade 6, I'm being told.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I had a few questions about that experience for you. Did you do any sports there?
Yeah, somewhat. It was mostly like a lot of football, cricket, and track and field. But track and field back then was mostly, just us saying, yes, I'm faster than you. Or she's faster than, it wasn't really anything serious. It was all just to prove a point.
Okay. So at that time, would you say you were any good? Were you faster than The other boys?
I was okay. I was like in my school at the time. I was like third stream basically, or third or
Oh
fourth
wow.
down the line. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I had some really. We were actually friends to be honest. Like the three of us, they were much better than me, even up to the start of high school. But they chose other paths.
Okay. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. At that time in your life, I know a lot of people in at that stage want to be police, want to be fireman, want to be. What did you want to be at that time? Do you think you remember, or did you have an
I can't
idea?
I, I can't remember.
All right.
I know it wasn't like what I ended up doing now, which
Mm,
I finished UTech doing construction management and basically turned over into the professional level. But I doubt I can't remember what I really wanted to become back then, but I know it's not what I am now.
all right. So you were raised in Trelawney. Can were you raised by your mom and dad, mom alone, dad alone? What was the situation there?
Just my mom and
Okay.
can't say my mom, my bigger brothers. Um, we
Mm-hmm.
have a fairly large family in Trelawney. As my grandmother
Mm-hmm.
has 10 kids, and they also have a lot of offspring. Not as much as my grandma
Okay.
and grandfather, but yeah. And most of us kind of lived close together, so we were pretty much raised by a family in a sense, where everyone knew everybody and everybody was close.
Mm. Okay. Okay. That's nice. So you had a nice support system. Then you'd have said at that time, and
Yeah.
still do. I suspect. All right. Do you have any friends that are coming from that time till now? Would you say is one of your oldest friends or a couple of your oldest friends?
I would say I probably have one that I'm still in contact with, and he was the faster guy at that time in primary school. Uh, his story though, when I had left Trelawney to go climb that, I mean it wasn't for track and field, but he was being recruited by Very Technical, and his guardian at the time was not about to send him that far to be by himself. So he,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so he
Oh,
ended up
that's
just playing
interesting.
football. Yeah.
So he must be looking
So
at
who
you now
knows?
and
All the time.
thinking, boy.
Every single time we talk, he has never let me outlive the fact that he was faster than me back
Oh
then.
wow. Look at how times change. All right. So first form, Brownstone High,
Mm,
and following that you moved to Portland Cottage in Clarendon.
yeah.
Would you be able to tell me why that move? Is it just a family thing or was it for school?
Family thing. My mom decided to move there for a few reasons, but it wasn't like anything sports related. We were just moving from
Mm-hmm.
one place to the next.
Okay, so this is all from my research now. Uh, Second to fifth form, you were at Bustamante High.
Hmm.
I'm being told, and then did you do track and field at Bustamante?
Yeah, yeah.
How?
It was alright. It was okay. I think I got the qualifying standard at Bustamante High for the for champs once. I think I was running 11.2 or something of the sort. I can remember. I also can remember not coming out of the heats at champs for both the one and the two.
Mm,
Um, that was in 2010. 2010?
yeah.
No, sorry, that was in 2009. 2009,
Uh-huh.
because 2010 and 2011 I was at Carver Mastia, yeah. So 2009, yeah.
Okay,
That,
so As you said that I've
I can
actually,
also remember I ran that qualifying standard barefooted too.
wow,
Yeah.
that's interesting. So from Bustamante High on to Garvey Maceo, actually I have a message from your high school coach at the time, Mr. Kurt Dawkins. If we can get that video now, Mr. Producer.
Kurt Dawkins, Kurt Beckford.
Breckford, my apologies, Kurt Breckford. Sure, the video just loading up. All right, so it seems there have been some technical difficulties with the video.
Good evening or good afternoon,
Yeah.
coach of one time Garvey Maceo High School, coach of Tyquendo Tracey. How I get to meet Tyquendo, I met him through his cousin, Omar Powell, and Dwayne. Dwayne was Omar's cousin. So Dwayne used to coach at Bustamante High School. So Dwayne carry me in the evening, come train with Omar Powell. So when I leave Garvey Maceo High School in the evening, like 6 o'clock, I come to Wembley, that is in Hayes, and we start the training there, like, you know, we train up till 7 o'clock. So when he was like running 4-1 to the 30 meter, I was asking myself that this boy look like he's talented. So I asked his cousins that actually, how old are he? He said that he's 16 years old. And I'm saying to him that, you know, definite I want him to come by Garvey for he look like he have talent. So that year he came the 2 weeks after school start, you know, he came and attend sixth form. No, he never come to sixth form. He we repeat him for he said that he wanted to do engineer, building technology. So if he did do sixth form, they don't do that that course by Garvey Maceo High School. So the following year, you know, he go to sixth form. So but he never run the first year for us. So in that year first year he run 10.73. So, you know, I spoke to him and I told him that, you know, next year you're going to run 10.3, though, boy. And say, really, coach? I say, yeah, man. And, you know, so from there, I take it one day at a time, but, you know, it's a lot of work I have to do, a lot of weights and stuff like that. And, you know, diet have a right, supplement and the whole thing, you know. For he kind of look a little bit lazy, but after when he start run 10.7 now, he start believing himself, he start do a lot of weights and stuff like that, and you know, he commit himself to the training and everything. So, you know, so the year when he run 10.33, I told him that he going to run 10.33. But as what I said is a lot of work, and I have to put in a lot of sacrifice to get him where he at now. So, and I wish him the best for the Olympics. So, you know, that is my cue, and I'm out.
All right, so that was a message from your old high school coach, Mr. Dawkins, who was very, very proud and had many, many words of encouragement to say for you. Had to cut it short there a little bit. But yeah, man, so that's Mr. Dawkins. So
Beckford.
yeah, Beckford. I don't know why I have Dawkins, my apologies. But yeah, so you weren't a star athlete in primary school. You weren't a star athlete for the most of high school until you got to about fifth form. Yeah, which is kind of rare. Yeah, which is kind of rare. So 10.7 first year at Garvey, 10.33 second year to make the World Junior team. Now, that is quite a fast transition, I would say, from somebody who barely making champ standards in barefoot to World Juniors in 2012. What was that like for you? Like when you realized that you made the World Junior team, your first national team in 2012, what was that feeling like?
Well, I mean, for me, it was a lot because new experience in every way possible. First time flying, first time,
Wow.
representing your team. Because honestly, I will probably not need to get into that, but I have competed in the character games before, and finished third, fourth, and wasn't brought on the teams. But when I got to the World Junior stage, and trust me, things changed, and at the time it was just a lot, and I was just happy to just be a part of everything.
Yeah. Wow, I can imagine. It's a big step, man. So yeah, World Junior team, silver medal in the 4x1.
National junior
And
record.
yeah, national junior record. That team, who was on that team?
Um, Me, Skeen, Jazzy Murphy, and Minzy, Javon Minzy,
Minzy.
great
Wow.
Minzy.
Okay. Yes, great, Minzy. So that year you finished fourth at Champs as well, and silver in the
Yeah,
CAC. So you had a big year in 2012.
yeah, fourth and last in the one of the 200 meter. I made that
Yeah,
finals also. Yeah, first time running so
right.
much rounds in such a short time, I was literally dead for the finals. I think if you had talked to Kirk about that finals, he would have told her that he literally begged me to go there. That's how much I was in pain. I I was
Wow,
never used to that.
it's a big jump, man. That's a big jump. So 2012, I'm sure a lot of schools came calling. You're wrapping up your high school years now, planning to move on to university. Were there
Hmm.
any international, US offers on the table?
Yeah, there was a few. I think there was like six different offers, six,
Wow.
six different offers. But it at the time, Kirk was a big fan of MVP. Kirk and my first
Oh,
high
okay.
school coach, they were a big fan of MVP, and they already selected that for me. And I I trusted them, and I decided to follow. And I mean, I can't say it was the worst thing. I definitely can't say that. So I
Hmm.
mean, I'm here.
Okay, that's good. So how many years did you spend at UTech? Remind me
2012 into
in total.
2017, 2016, 2017.
2016, 2017. Like you finished,
I
and
left.
that's where you were studying.
Yeah,
Yes, I was saying. So you finished school, and you did construction.
yeah, construction
That's something
management.
that you can yourself go back to, probably at the end of your career. Yeah,
Probably even
construction
you,
management.
probably
That's something that
even,
you have an interest in outside of track and field even now.
yeah, because I do help on projects with friends from time to time. Um, sometimes
Okay.
they will just ask my opinion, or sometimes they will say, "Oh, they're working on something," and I will just show up, or they will send me pictures and ask me certain questions, and even just for family members, I've done stuff for. So it's something I really like, something that keeps me occupied sometimes. So yeah.
All right, people, you hear that? So if you have any construction projects, you know who to contact. Tyquendo Tracey is the guy. All right, so you pretty much blossomed at UTech, I would say, between 2012 and 2015. Now, 2015 was an interesting year. Um, you finished sixth at the National Senior Championship, and you went to Europe, I believe, to compete for the first time in 2015. Correct?
Yes, yes.
All right, so let's start with trials. How was that trials to you when you realized that you're in a spot to be on that relay team?
That Charles was the first. I can say the first time I was in a place where I was just happy, just competing because I was beating people. I was running well at the time, and It was basically the same feeling as when I made the first national team in 2012. I was just really happy to be there, to be able to be on the team and knew I was on the team and going to China. Yeah.
Okay, so for the folks who don't know, in 2015, sorry, I have it here. What you made the team to London, and from the news that I received, you were doing some batting practice that year.
Yeah, made the team to
I'm
China.
hoping you might be able to tell. To China.
Yeah.
And you're doing batting practice that year, right? 2015, China. My apologies. So yeah. Batting practice. I was hoping you might be able to tell that story. I'm not sure if I've ever heard you tell it from yourself.
Well, I mean, I was feeling a certain amount of pain for some months in my left ankle. I mean, at the time, I was being constantly told that my ankle was weak. I mean, I was trying to do different strength works, and it never helped. The only thing that helped me at the time was painkillers. At the championship, we had 2 baton passes. First 2 was very successful. Mr. Edward Clark, I think, it was the Calabar coach back then, I think. Yeah, he said he wanted to see one more, to see one more. And what was funny, a lot of people said Mr. Clark can't really see well, so I don't know what they didn't know what else he wanted to see. But I mean, it was just what they said at the time.
Yeah.
You know, and for the third and final one, I went out hard, and then after like 6 to 7 stride, I just felt something pop, like just a quick snap, pop, and then I was walking fine, and then I walked over to the sideline and sat down, and you know, Nesta came over to me and was asking me if I was okay and how am I feeling, and then I said to him, I don't think I can run, and him say, sure. Man say, yo, you need to get out there on the track. This is something you can't miss. Get up and see if you can at least walk. If you know if you can't run, you can sit down and say you can't run. So I tried getting up, and trust me, it was unsuccessful. I could not. I mean, as I told you, I walked to the side and I was fine. But then when I tried to get up after that, I couldn't do it. My leg was totally messed up, or my ankle. And the swelling started immediately. So, you know, I mean, I ended up in the hospital right before the heats of the 4x1. And, you know, the doctors did a couple of tests, x-rays, CT scan, yada, yada, yada. And, you know, they were able to tell me that my ankle was fractured for 3 months, and I was running on a fractured ankle. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, what kind of mind frame does that put you in? I mean, you're at your first world championship. Excited to run, I'm sure. Who was on the relay team at that time? Who was supposed to be running with you?
Nesta, Asafa, and I think Bailey Cole.
Okay, so yeah, you're on that relay team. Your final ankle is fractured at the championship. Hearing me? Yeah. So you find the ankle is. What did you cry? I mean, what was going through your head?
Did I cry? Yes, I did. A whole lot. Back at the hotel
I can
room.
imagine.
I was at the track before they took me back to the hotel, and I remember Stephanie McPherson came over and said, Tyquendo, I understand how you must have feeling, and if you want to cry. And I was there sitting down, I was like, nah, I'm good. but I was never the type of person to really cry in front of a crowd or cry in front of people. I moved that to myself. So, you know, that's one of the reasons why I had said to her at the time, no, it's fine, I don't want to cry. But trust me, when I got back to that hotel, I and Nesta was roommates, so he
Mm.
can tell you.
Oh
I
no.
I was out of it. I
Wow. Mm.
I think I cried myself to a fever at the time, but I mean
Jesus.
I recovered.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and here you are today. So, but going back to that 2015, I remember because I was at UTech with you at the time, and I can
Yeah,
remember seeing you walking around in a cast that year for, well, the following year, 2015, 2016, for
yeah.
quite a number of weeks or months. How long were you in the cast?
So I was in I was in a I would say a sling was necessarily a cast before, and
Mm.
the my legs started feeling better at the time. That's when I got back to Jamaica. I
Mm.
wasn't feeling any pain, but I
Oh,
was not full
okay.
healed. So
Mm.
I started taking off the sling per se and walking around, and it being that I wasn't feeling any pain. But if I had made any bad steps, I feel like a little pinch or feel some kind of discomfort. And then when I went back to the
Okay.
doctor and did an X-ray, they asked if I started walking because I was supposed to be off the leg for 6 weeks.
Okay.
And I told them yes, and they said, well, they can see that because the bone shift in the ankle, and that is when they decided that I had to do a surgery to get it
Mm-hmm.
back in place. So I was out for roughly four from broke my leg in October. I think it was the 3rd of October.
Mm-hmm.
3rd of October. I didn't start training until on the track, that is until March, because after I did surgery about a week and a half later I started doing workouts in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start track work until March of 2016
March of 2016.
Olympic year.
So, as an athlete, or as a previous athlete, you started track work in March, but you opened the season in May.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
As 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 Zlatan would say, I am a lion. I don't eat like normal human beings.
All right. All right. We'll take that answer. So 2016, May, you're finally back to track, finally running again.
I also
After
remember
finishing
I still
sixth,
managed to make the youth at Penn's team that year also. So I
2016.
didn't really, yeah, 2016. I still ran on the 4x1 of a youth in 2016. That was the
People, that's
first
that's
time I
impossible.
think that was the first, I think that was the first time the team didn't win since when 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah, because most
So
of the guys went
so
on
when
to
you
the
were running at that
professional
time, you
level.
were okay. At that time though, were you in pain running or you were at like 100%?
No, but no, I wasn't. I wouldn't say I
Mm-hmm.
was at 100%, but I wasn't in any
Mm-hmm.
pain. The doctor said I was fine. I can jump and flip
Mm-hmm.
and do whatever I want on the leg. But when you have that memory of running, literally running, and your legs snap, you're going to have that
Oh
for
man.
some time. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was running with that fear in my mind for a while. I think it will just snap again.
Wow. Okay, so 2016, somehow you make a miraculous comeback. 2017 trials again. 10-1-5 at trials. What was I trying to remember? What was the placement at trials in 2017? Tracy?
17. I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember. I think
All right. I
I know
believe.
I think no, I definitely made the finals. Did I?
Mm-hmm. No man, you had to have been in the top six.
Yeah, I definitely made the finals. Oh yeah, because I went to the World Championship in London. Yeah.
Yes, you
Yeah,
did. Yes,
yeah.
you did.
Oh, I finished fifth,
Yeah. Okay.
and
So
Campbell
2017.
finished fourth. Yeah,
That special Michael Campbell.
very special.
So yeah, fifth at trials 2017. Again, you are on the 4x1 team and having to do button changes. This is 2 years after you are doing these button changes, and you hear your foot pop. Now, how challenging might that have been for you?
I think by then I had gotten past it because I mean
Okay.
doing daily workouts where you have to be sprinting in and out. But trust me, there were some jokes and some concerns that remember 2 years ago you were doing this and you broke your leg, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I had gotten past it, so it wasn't like something lingering in the back of my head.
Okay. And that year, of course, you went on to the World University Games in Taipei. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Taipei,
Taiwan.
and finished. Taipei, Taiwan, and finished fourth.
Yeah.
That must have been an interesting experience. What is Taipei, Taiwan like?
One of the few countries I would like to go back to.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's actually a really nice place. Well, my experience there was really nice. The whole culture and just how the people just seem to mind their business. I've been to a lot of countries. People say and they're like looking at you like they're seeing you for the first time, and that was one of the places I've been to where people just be going about their business every day. Most, if not everyone, was really helpful because they know the language barrier, but most people speak English or have a knowledge of it. But Taipei, a really nice place.
All right, so moving on from 2017 now to 2018. Now, I can remember that, well, last year I consider to be your golden year. That year you won the championship, national championship, 10-07. Let me start there. What was winning the national title like? I mean, it is the Blue Ribbon event. This is an event where we have the fastest people. What does that feel like?
Well, that was the year for me when I started training with a lot of aim. And this even though I train like that, I train with a certain person in mind that I need them to finish behind me. And it may so weird, but yeah, I do train like that. And for me, winning that championship that year, I knew I wasn't the person for some that they wanted to win, especially where I was at the time, for sure. And me winning that championship just, it made me feel inside like how I reacted after winning the 100 meter this year. So, yeah.
All right, so that was a big one. That year, you went on to win the Athletics World Cup in 10:03. You won NACAC also in 10:03. You won a meet in Berlin in 10:05. Continental Cup gold in 4x1. An incredible year. I think that is really the year that you made a huge impact on male sprinting in Jamaica. Coming after that season in 2018, what do you think are some of the things that you could really take or share to other athletes who would love to have a year like that?
Winning is fun. That's for sure. And personally for me, like, that year was the year that I did a lot of traveling. I got to meet a lot of people. I got to experience a lot of things, and like, that's one of the great things of track and field that I can say, I really, really appreciate. Even though 8 or 9 out of the 10 times I may go somewhere, I stay in my hotel room until I compete and go back to my hotel room until I leave. I don't necessarily go out and let somebody, come and say, yo, we are going here, so we are going here, so. And I'll just tag
Yeah.
along. But regardless of that, just being able to say I was there is really good.
All right. So 2019 now. This is the year when you had decided you wanted to leave MVP, moved on to Tumbleweed track club, that a big track club, big Puma club. Went to the Doha Championships and didn't quite perform like yourself. What do you think? What was the reason? In your opinion, you think you didn't compete the way you wanted to compete? Because I listened to an interview on Track Alerts where you were saying that you weren't pleased at all. How do you bounce back from a championship like that?
Honestly, it was quite shocking for me, to be honest. Like, even to today, I recently found out one of the major reasons why I didn't perform how I did, and I'm not one to try to bash anybody, because everybody has their reason to do what they do, but sometimes their reasons aren't justified.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, your reasons for doing what you're doing is at somebody else's expense, my expense at that time. And I I was literally being cheated per se,
Wow.
because trust me, as I said to you, and I think I had said this to you before, how I was training, how I was being
Okay.
prepared at the time. There is no words to even explain why on earth I performed that badly at the championship. Like, I was literally puzzled for weeks, probably months even afterwards, like what happened.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you that at that time I was in the best form of my
Jesus.
life. But whatever transpired within the last 5 to 6 weeks before the championship, which, as I said, I probably shouldn't get into. And those things are some of the things that I found out and start looking into why I'm here and not there anymore. So,
Okay. And by here, I'm not there anymore. I suspect you're talking about training back at home now with the great Akil Stewart.
precisely.
Okay, so this brings us to present day. 2021 national champion again.
Yeah,
You're back home
2020
and
was
clearly
just a
happy.
big blur.
Yeah, man, we're skipping 2020 completely. 2021, back home and back to winning. And now we're looking ahead. Let's talk Tokyo, which is why we're here. So there's been a lot of talk about the Jamaican men's 100. Naturally, we're coming off the high of Usain Bolt running 9.5. And of course, at that time, we'd have seen Johan Blake run 9.8 fairly easily.
Yep.
And we have regressed a bit. What do you have to say to the naysayers now, who are saying that Jamaican men's 100, they need to stop parties so hard, they need to, I don't know, what do you have to say to them, especially ahead of Tokyo?
I would like to say to a lot of those people that they need to try and get more involved with track and field and stop talking from their anus and start talking from their brains, because there's a lot people don't understand about track and field, and there's a lot people don't understand where people are, what people are going through, especially the athletes.
Yeah.
And I've used this analogy before where I said sports, for one, in every country, it's basically like a tree. A lot of people's tree will blossom for very long and bear a lot of fruits for a long time, while some have to basically go back through that process of, what's that process again? where it basically have to just start bearing new fruits.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
at the
yeah.
end of the
I'm
day,
following you.
at the end of the day, we'll always be on the top. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
US know that and all of them other countries. That's why
Mm-hmm.
they try their best to compete with us every single chance they get. When you zoom out on the world map, you can't even see
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica. But at the end of the day, this big ass country that we could fit in a 1.5 million times, all they
Mm-hmm.
see is us whenever they touch the track. So that must say a lot. And regardless of that, people need to understand things take time to turn around. Some people are late bloomers, like myself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Not every day you're gonna get up and have a Usain Bolt. That is obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And not
Exactly.
every day you're going to get up and have a Shilling Fraser prize. So I mean, when it's time for the turnaround, you
Mm-hmm.
just you just have to wait. You just have to basically find the right people to help with that. And
Mm-hmm.
that is one of the places where I think Jamaica has faltered because our management of our youth has been horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Because for one, the talents that we've had over the years, a lot of them wither away into the wilderness, and people make it seem like we have 400 million people to pick from when it's
Yeah,
just what 2.5.
somewhere there.
So yeah, so I mean, it's bad management, and some of us are actually trying to keep it going.
Definitely, definitely. Okay, so couple of weeks away, you have one more track meet. I believe it is in LA on the 18th of July before heading to Tokyo.
Yeah,
We have been hearing about many restrictions that should be happening. Is that a concern of yours?
as long as I as long as they don't stop me from competing, I'm fine with whatever restrictions they have.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume they are putting these restrictions in place for the safety of me and my other teammates and everybody else competing at the games.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever restrictions they're putting in place, as long as I can run, I'm fine.
Okay. All right. I have a couple more questions, but before I get to them, I just want to open the floor for anybody who is watching to send in any questions, and my producer will put them on the screen here so I can read and ask Tracy. So while the questions are coming in, I'll continue with this question. So, of course, the Jamaica men's 4x1 is always a special team. If you were to pick the team and to order it the way you want to order it, how would that really go?
Ooh, Tyquendo Tracey to Julian Ford to there's a few ways right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Me to Julian Ford to I would say to Yuan because when he's ready to run a curve, he is unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
To oblique Seville.
Okay, it's an interesting way to put it. Uh, okay, so outside of your running and your events, is there any particular event that you're hoping to get to see while at the games? An event that you're looking forward to?
100-meter hurdles.
That's interesting. That's an event that is of particular interest to me. But why? What is it about the 100-meter hurdles? What do you want to see in particular?
I just said that because of you.
All right.
But I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know
Yeah.
if there is.
It's
I
just kind of
mean,
focusing.
I've been zoned in a lot on maybe the 400-meter hurdles for men. For
Okay.
women, for women, I think I can somewhat predict that. But that
Yeah.
400-meter men, I'd like to see those two giants go at it. Warholm and Benjamin. That's the name?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a statement here from Jesus M on YouTube, and he says there's no fans in the stadium, no energy. Can you imagine competing in front of no fans? How do you think that will impact your performance?
I mean, we somewhat did that at the national championships. So I really would have liked to have had the Olympic experience with everybody going
Yeah.
crazy in the stands. But
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, there is not much we can do about that.
That's true. All right. Just three more questions for you, Tracy. So, firstly, when you're going to warm up or prepare for your race, is there any particular song or songs that you like to listen to kind of get your juices flowing, or are you not that type of person?
Currently that's Da Vinci Basic. That's my go-to these days. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that song gives me a real vibes mentally and physically.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
and I
You're saying?
no, I was saying mostly is like that rhythm that song is on, plus just the song itself. It's a real vibe.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right. I'm going to check it out after this.
One other
Pre-race conversations.
one other one too.
Uh-huh.
Right, Top Prize by Alkaline. So those
All
two
right.
are my go-to songs.
All right. So for any American athlete that might be listening, you guys can try those songs and see if it helps you. Are there any pre-race conversations that you have to have? Like, is there anybody that you have to talk to kind of, get your mind right? Or are you one of those persons that you have to just kind of be in your own bubble?
It depends. It
Mm-hmm.
depends. I I I have been nervous to the point of not remembering how to set my blocks. But
Wow.
I mean, it depends. Like most of my talking and conversation would have happened the night before, or
Yeah.
maybe an hour or two before I start warming up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
All right. Uh, Final question for you, Mr. Tracy. So you're in the Blue Ribbon event, the men's 100 meters. How do you see yourself faring in that event? How do you see Jamaica faring in that event? And what do you have to say to the supporters now, or the people who will be looking forward to a grand performance from Tyquendo Tracey?
Mm. Uh, I for one, I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
forward to the competition itself. And
Mm-hmm.
from where I am right now, training, I my confidence level is really high. And I'm not trying to get ahead of myself. I'm just trying to
Mm-hmm.
stay focused and let the training speak for itself.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I can say, like right now at this moment, I am better than I was before.
Okay, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Taekwondo Tracy says he's better than he was before. And if you can recall, in that 100-meter final, he went across the line beating his chest. So we're expecting fireworks. All right, well, that about does it for Let's Talk Tokyo episode 1. Taekwondo, thank you so much for joining me. You're watching Chuck Alerts TV. Have a pleasant good evening. Hold on, I have a question here coming in from O'Shea Hudson on Facebook. It says, what's your take on the possibility of the alternate athletes being cut from the Tokyo team? Also, what's your opinion or take on the three past the post qualification status and how it's being criticized post the recent trials? Okay, so I suspect he's referring to the top three um, ruling at the
The
J3s. Yeah. So yeah, how would you answer that question? You're able to see it, right?
yeah, what's it?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I really don't think they should cut the alternate athletes. Um,
Mm-hmm.
these athletes are more important than a lot of people that are on the team. And when I say a lot of people, I mean staff members that don't need to be there. In my opinion,
Okay.
anything can happen on the day. You were an athlete, you know this. These people are
Mm-hmm.
people that need to be there. A lot of the staff members don't need to be there
Mm-hmm.
because they aren't really a necessity. So I believe that they should do whatever they can to make sure these athletes are there. Because trust me, 2017, 2019 speak for itself. We barely had a 4x1 to go out there because everyone got hurt and there was enough alternatives. So
Okay.
that in itself should let people know that these people are needed to be there. You can't put
Mm-hmm.
certain coaches out there to run on a 4x1. I'm sure of that. These athletes are needed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. One more question. Oh, do you want to comment? Sorry. Do you want to comment on the first past the post? I assume it
I'm
might be in
not sure
reference
what
to.
he
Yes, I
means
assume
by
it might
that.
be in reference. Yeah, I'm assuming it might be in reference to the whole Omar McLeod situation where naturally he would have been one of the favorites for the 110 hurdles and
Mhm.
had a bad day at the championship. What do you, and of course he has been left off the team. How do you feel about that?
McLeod is a close friend of mine, and regardless of what
Mm-hmm.
happened that day, I'm sure you will agree with me that everyone went through the same process in terms of the heats and the finals. If you
Mm-hmm.
faltered on the day, that is entirely on you. There may have been some bad management in terms of scheduling and all that, but he wasn't the only one that went through it. Um, Trust me,
Mm-hmm.
I was really disappointed to hear that he didn't make it through. Very disappointed. But at the end of the day, the circumstances at which he faltered was not only on him; it was on everybody.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Last question from Wilbert Williams on Facebook. What are your expectations for the 100 meters for you? You already answered that question. And who do you believe will win the women's 100 meters and 200 meters?
My expectations is to do better than my best, much better than my best
Mm-hmm.
for myself. Wherever that takes me,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully on the podium, I will just rock with it all day, all
Mm-hmm.
night.
Mm-hmm.
That woman 100 meters. Whew. I mean, it's obvious in on any given day, but just as I said before, anything is possible. But on
Mm-hmm.
paper, the queen should win regardless.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Shelley and Fraser, of course,
Yeah.
and I was really hoping for that young lady to be at the championship for the big guys up there.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, she did what she did. Um, but first place, Shelley and Fraser Price. Second place, Sharika Jackson. Third, Elaine. Fourth, Dina. Fifth, Okobari Blessing. The
Wow. So
200
you got more
meter
than.
the
Mhm.
200 meter for me is the same three, same order. There may
Wow.
be a
All
slight
right. So
change,
guys,
but
write that down.
um, maybe a slight change in the top two, maybe.
Uh,
But I
mhm.
think I'm more on the same order for the 200.
All right. You heard it here first. Tyquendo Tracey putting down his predictions. And that pretty much will wrap up Let's Talk Tokyo for episode 1. Tracy, again, thank you so much for joining us. All the best in Tokyo, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you next week again. But take care.
Yes. Take care. Thanks.